Folks, welcome to Dr. Skeleton's Art School. It's episode 372. It's just me today. Just Will. Ben's not here. No one else is here. But don't worry. This is going to be a pretty exciting episode because we have some legitimate news about the show. So last week we talked to Ben and Shelly and Zoe when we were there in New Jersey, staying with Ben and Shelly. It was an awesome trip. We talked all about what we did there. But one of the things that we hadn't talked about on this show was that Ben and I spent some time thinking about the future of this podcast. We talked about, what we wanted out of it, and where we're going. And I think it's important that we spend a little bit of time today, you and me, thinking about where we've been and what's next for this show. So basically, we started Dr. Skeleton's Art School, this podcast, on June 13th, 2017. And as Ben and I have mentioned on the podcast before, that technically makes us one of the first podcasts. There was an enormous podcasting boom after we started. We are somehow in I guess whatever. I don't mean to claim that we were one of the first, but we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing it for 7 years. 7 years of podcasting, 371 episodes, releasing something every single week. I guess 372, including this one. On top of those 371 episodes, there are many more premium episodes that we've posted on the Patreon page, well over 100. So basically, we've done this a lot of times pretty consistently, and it's actually something that I'm very, very proud of. I'm proud of the fact that we remain so consistent, and that we've put something out every week. I don't know. It's just kind of a neat accomplishment. That being said, our lives, my life, Ben's life, we're in completely different places now than when we started, right? Like in 2017, I'm not going to pretend to be able to describe where Ben was at, but I was squatting in Zoe's first apartment in Madison when I remember talking to Ben, like walking in her apartment, walking around her like one bedroom apartment while she was at work. I was unemployed. Getting some Times of Flat Circle vibes right now. But anyway, talking to Ben about what we were going to do for the show, if we wanted to do a show, we decided to start then. And then, since then, I don't know, a lot has changed. So since we started the podcast, everybody got married, moved around. Things have just, developed. And it's no secret that this show isn't particularly successful, right? And while fame and fortune was never really the goal of the show, it is something that we finally had to confront head on. Like, what have we spent these 372 hours doing? Give or take, probably a lot of time there. But all the editing and the uploading that goes into every show too. There's really been nothing to show for it, and not to say that we have to be a terribly successful podcast. It would be nice to, be working towards something with this. Like, it's been good to pal around with Ben this whole time, but we want to be working towards something with it. I think is the kind of the way that we've thought about it. The Patreon subscribers will have noticed, and this year and last year we've wound down the premium episodes for a while now. It got harder to justify making extra time to record another episode each week for such a small audience. We eventually hit pause on the Patreon, and we freezed the billing cycle so no one would be paying for anything that they aren't getting. And so the Patreon has been in a dormant state since then. We didn't want to cancel it altogether, which would mean that we lost all the material that we had there. But it's just been hard to justify spending more time out of our week recording, another episode of this hangout thing that doesn't have any direction. And so we've had a very small audience the whole time we've done this. Very, 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 very small. Basically, no one can find this podcast unless like one of us directly tells somebody about it, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like the title of it is Dr. Skeleton's Art School. What does that mean? It's not about anything. We don't introduce ourselves. Crucially, we don't do anything to promote the show. Never post about it on social media. Neither of us have social media followings of any sort anyway. So like there's really it's a complete void that you just like need to have been sent a link to get to this at all. And like the appeal to this has to be like, oh, you already know us and you just want to hear more about what we're saying anyway for some reason, which would be like kind of a pretty bizarre value proposition to anybody who isn't like, I don't know, already deeply embedded in our lives, right? Why would any random person want to listen to this show? I mean, I think that we do an interesting show. I think that we put out good content. I'm proud of our output, but I'm not fooling myself to think that it is particularly it has a lot of like mass market appeal, I guess. A lot of hoops to jump through just to like listen in the first place. So what are we doing now? What are we talking about? We're doubling down, baby. We've done series in the past. Series earlier on in the show, we did all of the James Bond movies. That was 25 episodes. And we've also done the Lord of the Rings movies, the Star Wars movies. And when we do that, you know, it gives the show a subject. And this is actually helpful, as it turns out. If your like show is about something, you can tell people what it's about, and then you can, I don't know, you can promote it to people who might be interested in hearing about that kind of thing, et cetera, et cetera. And so we've decided that we will be watching ABC's Lost. Why? Actually, this is a good point. I have like my notes here. Did not talk about why we've chosen Lost. Why did we choose Lost? It was just kind of like a, hey, do you want to do Lost? Sure, let's do Lost. Maybe we could think about it more. But we're not doing a 1-to-1 episode. You know, we're doing like one episode per of the show per one episode of the podcast. That would be apparently 121 episodes. We'd be done mid of 2025, I think, or probably much longer than that actually. But anyway, we're not doing that. We're gonna watch a handful of episodes at a time. And I know people listen to this are like, "What? I don't care about Lost," and like, "Don't. It's okay. You don't have to care about Lost." The other good news is that, well, first of all, maybe you'll care about. Try listening anyway. We're not gonna like change our personalities and suddenly be like industry analysts or anything. It's still going to be Ben and I watching the show and talking about it and like whatever else comes up. Listen to the Star Wars episodes if you want a kind of like taste of how that goes. Like it's good time. But we're also bringing back the Patreon for regular hangout style content that you've gotten so used to and love so much here. The totally directionless, just blabbering until you've hit 1 hour, like that style. I didn't mean to commit us to an hour. Maybe I should go back and edit that. But like we're gonna bring back the hangout stuff. We're probably gonna talk a lot more about politics on the Patreon. There's no need for us to, I don't know, get ourselves into trouble on the main show, I suppose. We're going to, be putting our show out on YouTube because that's actually a pretty good discovery platform for podcasts. We're going to be renaming the show. That's a step that we definitely haven't taken before when we've done the other mini series on the show. I mean, we've called it like Darth Der Skeleton's Art Academy for the Star Wars show, and dudes posting their elves online for the Lord of the Rings show. Like we just called it that, like in the show, but it was still under the banner of Dr. Skeleton's Art School. We are going to be renaming the show. You're not going to see Dr. Skeleton's Art School podcast in your RSS feed anymore. That's a big change. It's going to be okay. You're going to see different episode art. It's going to be okay. We're calling the show Lost on Ice. And it's, it's going to be about Lost. Like that's what it's going to be. It's going to be okay. This is going to be the direction. This is a big project about picking a direction for us to go towards, or pick a direction. Did I say that right? We're going to pick a direction that we're going to apply energy to, I suppose, and hopefully attract an audience. I'll say it. We want more attention. God damn it, and it'll be a good time. So that's the plan. The Patreon is going to be the home for the hangout stuff. That's so much fun to do. But on the main show, Lost on Ice, we're going to be talking about Lost. I think we did the math. Let's be honest. I did the math. We can get through the whole entire series in 33 episodes, which that puts us ending at March 9th, 2025. And then what? Who knows? But that's the plan. We're committing to this. We're going big. Listen, we did all of the James Bond movies. That was nuts. Just like in the middle of our. That's actually a thing that I'm very proud of us for some reason. Is just to like, hey, let's casually commit to watching every one of these stupid movies, and it's kind of like a meta bit that we did. But anyway, we're doing the same thing. There's gonna the secret number behind the scenes. It's gonna be Dr. Skeleton's Art School, episode 373. It's gonna be episode 1 of Lost on Ice. I also think it's very funny in a way that you do like 372 episodes of a podcast and then introduce okay, see, here's season 2. That just cracks me up. Anyway, so that's the plan. Apparently Lost is on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can watch along there. I'm excited about this direction. I'm excited to be like applying our effort towards something in this way. I think that all of these last 7 years, this was just practice, baby. This is Ben and I getting into the groove. How many people do you think have this many hours behind the scenes perfecting mic technique, and in Ben's case, perfecting new ways of keeping the microphone at different, relative distances to his mouth. No one puts in these kinds of hours behind the scenes only to debut a new project, that will take 10 times more effort. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to go places that no one's ever gone before. Smarter people will give up. Not us, baby. We're gonna watch Lost and talk about it for some reason. I mean, that's really it's a big announcement, but also at the same time, it's not a big announcement. We're just gonna be watching Lost and talking about it. But we're bringing back the Patreon. We're changing the name of the show, and it's still gonna be us. We're still gonna be having a good time. Let's freaking go. Thanks for listening, and thanks for giving us the benefit of the doubt on this. I hope you come along for the journey. We'll see you on the other side.